Hello. Today in Kajabi in 5 minutes, I'm going to be talking about the page settings. So this is the area when you're editing a website page or a landing page. You first come into the page, and in the top of the toolbar, you see sections and settings. That settings is what I'm talking about today. So in this area, you've got a bunch of things like the style guide, design tools, custom code. There are some things on website pages in this area that you don't get on landing pages. And mostly they deal with password recovery and things like that, in case you've got a member-only page, which is something that I talked about last week, how you can turn a website page to be visible only to your members. And so those page settings are in this area as well. You can put a specific favicon for this page in the settings area as well under the favicon section. Again, as a website page, that setting will be for all of your website pages. But if you're in a landing page, that favicon will be just for that landing page. So that can be kind of neat if you want to have a separate favicon for a landing page compared to your whole site. There is something else on a website page that is interesting in the settings area, and there's a disabled pages at the bottom. So remember how some of your website pages are system pages and you can't really turn them on or off? Well, for whatever reason, in this area, you can turn off two pages, the member directory and the announcements page. So take that for what it is. Now, the most interesting spot in the settings area for sure is going to be the style guide or the custom code area. Now, the custom code is just a place where you put in some custom code that you want for your site. For example, unique font settings, additional fonts, or bullet settings for different bullet icons, or form settings, or header settings to adjust the appearance of those items. This is a great spot for that type of code. Now, on a side note, if you're interested in learning more about what type of code you can put into pages on Kajabi and how easy it is to use, head to my website and check out the code course I have there. It's a lot of fun if you like that kind of stuff. And there is a cool freebie that you can have there to introduce you to Kajabi code and just doing some custom stuff. So in the style guide, this is where a lot of stuff is controlled. And really what I'll focus on the most is the font settings. So beside that, you're able to choose button settings for color of text and background and outline or filled, solid, size, all of those type of things. You can choose the primary color for your site, which is going to be used for hyperlinks and the play bar of like a video player and things like that. But this is where all of your font stuff is kind of chosen for your page or your theme if it's a website page. You can choose your body font and paragraph font. You can set line height, and you can set whether or not it's bold or normal. And by default, headings in Kajabi are always bold. I personally like moving that to normal because if it's always bold, you can't unbold it. But if it's normal, you can bold it or not. And sometimes you just like to have that control. So I always go into that setting and make it not always bold in the heading font. And then there's all of the sizes for H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and body on desktop and mobile. And these sizes, this is really the spot in Kajabi where you control the size of your font. And you just choose the pixel size for each version, desktop and mobile. Now, the H1 is by default the biggest, and they go down. There's a little bit of SEO understanding here that might change the way that you kind of use the sizes and your H1. So the heading number 1, that's a specific tag is what it's called. That's on your page that tells Google what this page is about. And so you don't want to put H1 in a bunch of different spots where it's talking about different things on your page, because that's going to confuse Google about what this page is about. Google likes to use a hierarchical structure of headings to understand a page. And so by being intentional about where you put your H1, it is going to help you with your SEO. And so most people, I think, because this is how, Kajabi gives you control over the font sizes, they'll use H1 where they want big stuff and other H's where they want little stuff. What I recommend that you do is you make your H1 and your H2 font the same size so that you can use your H1 where it's important for Google, preferably right at the top, one of the first things that are said to help Google understand what this page is about. And then whenever else you want big stuff on your page, you use your H2 for that so that you're not confusing Google while you're controlling how things look. And yeah, that's my spiel about SEO. I've got an SEO course actually too, now that I think about it. So you can check that out on my website if you're interested. So this is the style guide. Important to go there and set up your fonts. Usually you do that once and then you don't go back. But that's where it's done. So I hope that this helped. That's what I've got for you today. And make sure you tune in next week for some more Kajabi awesome stuff.